Dick Griffey, who was the booking agent for the R&B television show Soul Train, and Simon Susan, a British R&B producer, were the ones who came up with the idea for this group. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, the name Shalamar became synonymous with the current sound of infectious feel-good dance music. This group was best known for a string of worldwide hits. The centerpiece of today's video is all about Shalamar. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. This group began their existence as a manufactured group. Dick Griffey was the talent supervisor for the renowned television show Soul Train when he decided to start his own record label, Solar. In 1977, he took session musicians and produced the smash tune Uptown Festival, which was credited to a faceless artist named Shalamar. When the song became a hit, he realized there was a demand for an actual group. So he formed one with Soul Train dancers Jeffrey Daniel and Jody Watley, as well as singer Gary Mumford, who soon departed the group to pursue other interests. Gerald Brown replaced Mumford on the group's second album, Disco Gardens, which was released in 1978, which featured the hit Take That to the Bank. In late 1979, the group was riding high on the R&B charts with their single Take That to the Bank when Gerald Brown became the second lead singer to leave Shalamar in as many years, leaving his fellow band members without a frontman once again. Howard Hewitt took over Brown's position in 1979. Jeffrey Daniel had met Howard Hewitt in the Los Angeles nightclub Maverick Flat a few years prior and had previously requested him to take over lead vocals after Mumford's departure. While this was going on, Hewitt was already committed to another contract that would take him on a tour of Europe singing covers. When Brown left, Daniel invited Hewitt back on board, and this time he considered, and the rest is history. The year 1979 marked the year when the group collaborated with producer Leon Silvers and the song The Second Time Around. This song was a million sell, as well as being #1 on the US R&B charts when it went on to reach #8 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, indicating Shalamar's intention to cross over with an edgy sound incorporating funk, disco, R&B, and pop. The trio, consisting of Howard Hewitt as lead vocalist together with Jeffrey Daniel and Jody Watley, became known as the classic lineup of the group. From late 1979 to mid-1983, they racked up more than a dozen hits all over the world, including North America, Europe, Africa, and Japan. The group's record sales in the United Kingdom rose after Daniel showed off his body popping dancing talents on the music program Top of the Pops, which was broadcast on BBC television. This was the first time that the moonwalk was shown on television. Michael Jackson was a fan of Shalamar, particularly Daniel and his dance moves. After watching him on Soul Train, Jackson and Daniel met afterward, and Jackson took his then 12-year-old sister Janet to see Shalamar perform at Disneyland. Daniel and Jackson co-choreographed Jackson's Bad and Smooth Criminal videos from the album Bad in 1987. Shalamar's Hewitt, Watley, Daniel trio earned 5 gold albums, beginning with Big Fun in 1979, followed by 3 for Love in 1980, which went platinum, Friends in 1982, which also went platinum, The Look in 1983, and Heartbreak in 1984. In 1983, before to the release of The Look, Watley and Daniel quit Shalamar due to problems inside the group, as well as concerns with Dick Griffey and Solar.
Not surprisingly, the budding superstars began to look closely at their bank accounts.
I'm not making any money from this, from touring, 365 days a year, but not one royalty, nothing. And I started feeling like we were being taken advantage of. I was being taken advantage of. And no amount of fame or popularity can smooth that over.
Dick, I'm trying to buy a house here. Y'all want to buy houses now. Y'all dancing on Soul Train for free yesterday. We didn't have enough money to buy cars. We were leasing a car through Dick Griffey's leasing agent. So see, we didn't own nothing.
Artists have real demented ideas about what's out there. Howard Hewitt told me one time, man, I ain't getting no royalty check. I said, Howard, well, I just gave you $1 million advance. What do you mean you ain't getting no royalties? I mean, advance means royalties in advance. You have to recoup what you received in the cost of your records.
The tension also spread to the group itself.
Howard had a talk with Jody and myself, and he told us, well, I'm the leader of the group. And Jody and I looked at him and said, excuse me, leader of the group? There's no leader to the group.
It started to get really fatiguing to not be respected and to be told that, you're just a dancer and you can be replaced. And it wasn't really healthy because I don't think that anyone should ever be in a situation where they get conditioned that they're not of value.
We were young, stupid, full of ourselves, and that's when we needed somebody else in that higher position to refocus us. But we didn't have anybody like that.
What prompted you to leave this group? You were really exciting and you were doing a lot of things with the group.
Control. Didn't have enough control over my career. And I wanted to grow and to do some other things and to expose myself more.
And so he says, well, I've been talking to Jody and blah, 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 blah. I said, well, you've been talking to Jody. Why is she mad at me? And she talked about why is she mad at me? I mean, I can see her being mad every place else. But why is she mad at me, right? And he says that there was a point right when we were breaking up, and she said you guys got into an argument in front of this hotel in the UK where you used to in London where you used to stay when you would go there. And I remember the hotel was called the Blake Hotel. And I remember the argument. We came there, Jeffrey and Jody were coming there to tell me about myself, and I wouldn't want to really hear about it, you know what I'm saying? So we got into this big argument, and he said that when you were arguing in the midst of the argument, he said she said that you told her she would never be shit without Shalamar.
Although the look wasn't as successful as Friends had been the previous year, it nonetheless delivered a number of hit singles in the UK, including Disappearing Act. The Grammy nominated Dead Giveaway. And Over and Over. After Mickey Free and Delisa Davis replaced Daniel and Watley in the group's lineup, Shalamar's Dancing in the Sheets peaked at number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100 and was featured on the Footloose soundtrack album. And baby, let's dance in the sheets. Hewitt, Free, and David Hawk Walensky wrote, Don't Get Stopped in the Beverly Hills. Hey, in Beverly Hills, hey, which was featured on the Beverly Hills Cop soundtrack and won the 1985 Grammy Award for Best Album of Original Score written for a motion picture or television special. The award was granted to all 14 songwriters on the soundtrack. Both Dancing in the Sheets and Don't Get Stopped in Beverly Hills appeared on Shalamar's 7th gold-selling album, Heartbreak, which was released in November 1984. Hewitt left the group in 1985 to pursue a solo career. Sidney Justin took over as lead vocalist for Shalamar's final 2 albums, Circumstantial Evidence, which was co-produced by Babyface and L.A. Reid, and Wake Up.
He looked for replacements. The first one he got from Leon Silvers, a flashy, funky guitarist named Mickey Free.
I was discovered by Gene Simmons from Kiss, and Leon Silvers heard me playing guitar. The funny thing about it was I didn't even know who Shalamar was, because I was a rock and roll, as I am now, guitar player, you know, Hendrix and all that stuff. And so I actually had to go to the store and buy a Shalamar record and listen to it and see who they were. And I dug it, so I said, sure.
Mickey Free was like my lifesaver, man. You know, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been able to last through that year and a half, 2 years.
I was a good dude. When I first joined Shalamar, yeah, me and Howard really connected.
That boy kept me laughing the whole time, so he's a good person.
Still missing was a female singer to replace Jody Watley. To find one, Solar Records put together a nationwide talent search.
We went everywhere, to every big city. Girls would come in and sing a Shalamar song, their favorite one or whatever. And there were some good girls, man, there, no doubt. Beautiful girls, and they could sing.
Delisa Davis was somebody who I had worked with in Nashville. And when Jody and Jeffrey left the group, I said, ooh, this might be an opportunity for Delisa.
On the road, we raged just like rock stars, man, like pop stars. We had our fun, we had our chicks, you know. Yeah, it's another story. It's another segment for Unsung. Yeah, man.
But Howard's heart was no longer in it. In 1984, as Dancing in the Sheets hovered in the top 20, Howard left Shalamar.
In some sense, yeah, I was biding my time. I was ready to do my solo thing at the time.
He wanted a little bit more control, I think, at that time than Dick would let him have. You know, and I could tell there was some tension there between those two. That was really, really strange, man, when Howard left. You know, it kind of left kind of like a void in the band.
To fill Howard's role, Dick looked to one of Shalamar's background singers, Sidney Justin.
I played football for a couple years in the NFL and then got injured, but I was always involved in music, you know, and Shalamar needed the background singer to double Howard. When Howard decided to leave, it was kind of almost like a natural transition.
But internal divisions undercut Shalamar.
There was tension with Delisa and Mickey. I mean, there was tension. There was tension between Delisa and Howard before I got involved.
We were three people kind of thrown together, trying to get the job done and adjust at the same time.
By the time Shalamar's 9th LP, Circumstantial Evidence, appeared in 1987, the fans were losing interest.
In 1999, Howard Hewitt and Jeffrey Daniel revived Shalamar and performed in Japan. This was followed by tours to the United Kingdom in 2000, 2001, and 2003. Since 2001, Shalamar has toured with Howard Hewitt, Jeffrey Daniel, and Carolyn Griffey, the daughter of Shalamar's creator, Dick Griffey. This lineup appeared in the 2005 British television series Hit Me Baby One More Time. In May 2005, Shalamar made it to the grand finale Hit Me Baby One More Time, but lost to Shakin' Stevens. This was followed by annual concert tours to the United Kingdom, Cannes, the United States, Nigeria, and Japan. The reconstructed Shalamar of Hewitt, Daniel, and Griffey performed as part of the Ultimate Boogie Nights Disco Concert Series at London's O2 Arena Entertainment in October 2009. This spurred their return to the United Kingdom in April 2010 for a tour. Shalamar returned to Indigo 2 in October 2011, December 2012, December 2013, and December 2014. Shalamar, comprising Howard, Jeffrey, and Carolyn, has been performing in the United Kingdom on a regular basis since 2015 with up to 30 gigs per year. The Real Thing was Shalamar's first single since 1991.
Now it's non-stop. We've got no reason to change it. No.
As of July 2018, Carrie Lucas and Carolyn Griffey, the wife and daughter of Shalamar creator Dick Griffey, officially control all Shalamar licensing in the United Kingdom and 28 European nations. Shalamar was honored with a stone on Camden's Music Walk of Fame in September 2023. Howard, Jeffrey, and Carolyn were in London to accept the prize on behalf of all Shalamar members throughout the years. In 2024, the group performed 6 concerts across the USA, including the Full in Love Festival, which included acts such as Diana Ross, Lionel Richie, Smokey Robinson, the Jacksons, and many other legends. Now, before we go, I have a few questions for you all. Do you believe Shalamar deserves a Hall of Fame induction? Also, what is your favorite song from Shalamar?